Hey, good morning, sports bettors. It's Matt Modi here with OddsJam, coming to you to preview probably the best college football game that we have for week 2, Texas versus Alabama. So Texas is the home team here hosting Alabama. Both teams had cupcakes in their first week. Both scored, I think, 50 plus, had just monster victories. Obviously, the level of competition in week 2 will be a little bit greater, mostly for Texas. So looking at the odds here, unsurprisingly, Bama, heavy emphasis on the heavy favorite. The best odds you can get them at are minus 1250. The best odds for Texas are at plus 900. Hot take, I think Alabama wins this one. But I'm probably not going to touch minus 1250, even in a parlay piece. Probably not worth it. If you did want to sprinkle like a tenth of a unit on Texas money line, I don't think that would be the dumbest thing in the world. Crazier things have happened, but certainly not looking likely for Texas. Looking at the point spread is where things get a little more interesting. And there's actually, so let me back up. The main lines for this have Alabama at about minus 19 or minus 20. If you scroll down to the alternate totals, it kind of gives you everything. Pretty insane value if you want to get Alabama, either minus 18.5 at minus 120 on FanDuel or minus 19 at minus 110 on WynnBet. I believe Alex Monahan, the OddsJam co-founder, already came out with the video with his Alabama pick. So I'm seconding that. I think there's a ton of value here on getting Alabama minus 19. The OddsJam line prices this minus 19 at minus 130. We got it all the way at minus 110 on WynnBet. And look at other sharp books. Like BetOnline prices this total all the way down at minus 20. A full point higher than what we are getting it at on WynnBet at minus 110 odds. So I think that this is a really sharp bet. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. Minus 19. I'm going to put a full unit on this one. Bama minus 19. I actually really like this one for just handicapping purposes as well. I think Texas, it is kind of interesting. They have a little bit of a revenge narrative, as I have to confirm my location here, with Steve Sarkisian as the starting quarterback, or excuse me, the head coach. Okay, and that one has been locked in. So anyways, I do like this one a lot for handicapping purposes, as I was saying. Steve Sarkisian, the new head coach for Texas, obviously used to be at Alabama as their offensive coordinator. Texas also has new quarterback Quinn Ewers, who does have some potential. He had a pretty decent game last week, granted against a cupcake schedule. My concern for Texas is twofold. Number one, and this is the most important one, is along the offensive line. I mean, they gave up a couple sacks last week to an offense or a defensive line that doesn't even compare to what they'll be facing off against Alabama. Will Anderson on one side, Dallas on the other side for Alabama. I think it's just going to be too much to handle. I could see Ewers just having no time to throw, not really having a shot to do anything in this one. So I think that Texas is really going to struggle to score. And then Alabama, Texas is going to have to shore up their tackling. They are pretty strong at middle linebacker. But Alabama, with Bryce Young, with the running backs and receivers that they have, the offensive line, I think they're just going to pile up points. And I just have a hard time seeing Texas be able to keep up. So getting Alabama at minus 19, I think is really good. I locked that in for a full unit. Let me now just add this one to my bet tracker. So that has been locked in. So looking at the total, most books have this total around 64.5. We can also get it at 65 on WynnBet, which does have some value. That is a little bit of a valuable play, under 65 on WynnBet. Every other book has this at 64.5, including the OddsJam line, which is favoring the under at 64.5. They're also favoring the under at 64, so a full point lower. So I do think this one is a really good bet. If you're going to take the total, take the under 65 on WynnBet at minus 110 odds. For me, I actually, instead of taking the full game total, I actually really like the team total for Texas to go under 22.5. So this won't show up on the Positive EV page because Pinnacle is only pricing 20.5. But that's exactly my point. They're pricing this team total at 20.5, and FanDuel has it all the way up at 22.5, a full 2 points higher than what Pinnacle has. Now, to be fair, Pinnacle is favoring the over. They think the over 20.5 is at minus 129, but Texas would need to score 3 full points more than what Pinnacle has it priced at to hit the over that we're getting it at on FanDuel at -112. So I think that instead of taking the full game total, this is going to be another, well, would be a unit play, but I can only get 84 on it. So I'm going to put 84 on this one. If you can get a full unit, take that. So instead of taking the full game under, I would rather just take Texas team total under 22.5. Even though they're the home team and they do have some hype with the new head coach and quarterback, I just have a hard time believing that they're going to score enough. I already talked about it and why I took Alabama -19. I think Alabama's defensive line is just going to feast on Texas. I don't think Texas is even going to get 2 touchdowns. So getting their team total to go under 3 touchdowns, I think is really valuable. And just the value here, getting it a full 2 points higher than what the Pinnacle line has at the sharpest sportsbook in the world, this OddsJam line here, pricing it under that amount and only getting it at -112, I think that's a really good value. So that is going to be my 2 favorite plays for this Alabama-Texas game. Alabama -19 locked in on WynnBet. Texas team total under 22.5 locked in on FanDuel. Definitely recommend tailing those. If you do, let me know. Would love to hear it. Comment on the video with your feedback. If you're not tailing, that's fine. Let me know why. Other than that, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, and that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.